Okay, so, this is going to be a slightly different video than what I'm used to doing because we have breaking news. Joe Biden has finally done the right thing and has dropped out. Now, obviously, it was a little late. He should have just kept his promise of being a one-term president. But my reasoning for wanting him to drop out is not like most people's. My reasoning is that for his health. And not because, he can't do it. He's been doing just fine as president. Do I agree with everything he did? No. But for the most part, he was doing a very good job. But health-wise, you look at him and you see how much of a toll this job has taken. And let's face it, everyone ages when you're the president. Well, there's one person who doesn't age, but he also never really gave a shit. But for the most part, you age. And it's more pronounced when you're already old to begin with. So it was obvious looking at him that for his health, he needed to go. Not because it would impede his ability to be president, but just simply treating him as a human being who, you might not want to do the thing that's going to make your health go spiraling downward. So that's my reasoning. And he has now endorsed Kamala Harris, his vice president, which makes sense because, he picked her for a reason. So, unlike some presidents who want their vice presidents hung, he actually likes his vice president. So, it doesn't surprise me. And as of this recording, Jim Clyburn has also endorsed her. Obama thanked Biden for everything he's done, but he did not endorse anybody. So take that for what you will. Obama is a very introspective type of guy. He's not going to just off the cuff say stuff. So maybe he just wants to see if anybody is going to actually challenge Kamala, which for the same reason that the people who actually would have had a shot to beat Biden didn't actually challenge him because they didn't want to weaken him. For similar reasons, I don't think anyone's going to challenge Kamala. If for no other reason, this is super weird, and the people who would have challenged earlier on probably, would have to scramble to try to figure out, okay, do I want to try for this nomination? What state does it leave where I am at? Because it's mostly governors who are considered top prospects for the Democrats. So it makes sense for Kamala. Now, if this wasn't a bigoted world, we could have an all-minority ticket. And, either her or Gretchen Whitmer, or my personal fave, her and Pete Buttigieg. However, we do live in a bigoted world, and the fact that there is a black woman, Barack Obama was black, but at least he had the advantage of the fact that he was a man. He was male. Kamala is black and a woman and Asian. So she's got a lot going against her for people who are just horribly bigoted. You know, they have, which I wonder how the hell can you have democratic values but yet be bigoted? That makes zero sense to me, but you know, this isn't just about Democrats anymore. This is about the general electorate. And there are a lot of never Trumpers who basically don't have a problem with his racism. They have a problem with, or even his sexism for that matter, they have a problem with how batshit insane he's acting. So they might not see the fact that, okay, we got rid of the really old guy and we got Kamala. I don't see them as thinking that that would be better. So Gretchen Whitmer, probably same thing. She's a woman. So that would be an all-female ticket. Don't think that would go over with a lot of people, which is sad, but the truth of the state of the US. Now, as to my pick, Buttigieg, he of course is gay. And I just keep thinking back to 2020 when during the Iowa caucuses, during the Democratic primary, a woman found out who voted for Pete, found out after she voted that, I don't know if it's that he's gay or that he's married. I can't remember if it was, but you know, regardless. And she wanted to rescind her vote. She wanted her vote back because, you know, apparently all the viewpoints she agreed with him was moot because he happens to be a gay man married to a man. Which I guess she was fine with him being gay as long as he didn't act on it, because that somehow changes things. I never understood that logic. So, if that is what we get for our Democratic voters, then again, the general electorate, especially those never Trumpers who basically left the Republican Party because they do not want, they're not full on MAGA, but yet they are bigot adjacent, if not outright bigoted, they wouldn't accept Pete. They would definitely not accept a gay man on the ticket. So again, it would be an all minority ticket. Only this time it would be a racial minority and a sexual minority. And of course, the fact that the ticket would be headed up by a woman, who I'm sure there are quite a few men, especially those who agree with the Andrew Tates of this world, that would break out in hives at the very notion of voting for a woman. Of course, I don't think those people would be up for grabs anyway. They probably are totally into Trump. So maybe I'm being a bit too harsh on the electorate who are never Trumpers, but yeah, as much as I would love for Pete, but these are my reasons for why I like Pete for vice presidential. In many ways, he balances out Kamala. The two bigotries that would be used against Kamala is, one, she's a woman, Pete is a man, even though I'm sure there's plenty of homophobes who would question that because, well, a real man likes women or something. So he's a man, he's white, Kamala is not. And for a lot of people, at least once upon a time, this actually mattered to people. He's a veteran. He's a veteran of Afghanistan. So he's a combat veteran, even though he said that he was basically his platoon's Uber. But still, he was in Afghanistan and in the Navy. So he's got that going for him. But unfortunately, bigotry tends to win out. So he definitely won't. Oh, yes. And the third thing is that he's already in the federal government. He is the Secretary of Transportation. Regardless of what you think of his job performance, considering how wacky this whole election season is, it would probably be the easiest for Pete to leave his job and to find someone to fill that job, because usually at the end of a term there's shuffling in the cabinet anyway. You know, people leave, especially when Secretary of State, because it's such a stressful job. So the fact that you would have to find another Secretary of Transportation wouldn't be that hard. What is hard is figuring out what senator or what congressperson you could pluck out, because either A, they're up for re-election this year, especially when it comes to the House of Representatives, which is every 2 years, or in the case of senator, maybe they might be up for re-election. And so then they have to figure out, do they want to lose their seat and be out of government, period, just for in the off chance that this ticket would win? Hopefully it would. Hopefully there are more people who feel like that they would rather vote for a ham sandwich than Trump. But, you know, with the way things are going, there are plenty of people who probably wouldn't do that. So, and same thing with the governors that are mostly what I'm hearing is the governors. Again, this is not something that anybody expected. So, would they be willing to up and decide to be a VP nominee in this crazy election, or would they rather, stick it out this cycle and hopefully there'll be another election cycle next time, and then they can properly plan to run for president or hopefully become VP or whatever the situation is. Hopefully it'll be 2 election cycles from now. Hopefully Kamala will win, if it is indeed Kamala, because she did say that she wants to earn the nomination, which makes sense. You don't want things handed to you. Unlike what the Republicans seem to think, calling her a DEI hire, no, she does not want things handed to her just because of the color of her skin. She wants to work for it. That is not what these initiatives are about. But anyway, my question to you guys is, who should be the VP pick? Because, again, I don't think that anyone is going to challenge Kamala, because it's late in the game. It's a very weird election. And anybody who does challenge her, probably it's going to be a Dean Phillips type situation, that it's just a laughable throwing my hat into the ring just because someone needs to challenge him because reasons. So I'm pretty sure that's going to be Kamala. The question is, who is going to be her VP pick? And there are plenty of names being bandied about for, who are polling better than Biden in the presidential election. They're all governors. There's J.B. Pritzker, there's Gretchen Whitmer, there is Wes Moore of Maryland, there is Josh Shapiro. So we have 4 potential nominees. I don't know if they would want to challenge Kamala for the presidential or just hope she picks him for VP, or it's completely off the table. And then I've seen Mark Kelly being, his name was mentioned on Reddit. And again, I don't know if he's up for re-election. Actually, I think he is up for re-election. So the governor... Oh, wait, no, he's not up for re-election. So the governor would have to fill his seat. So that would remain Democrat because Democratic governor. But, there's so much calculus to this when you're dealing with senators and congresspeople, especially if they're up for re-election. How safe do you feel in that seat? Because the idea is to retake the House and hopefully get a bigger majority in the Senate. So yeah, like I said, who do you guys think should be the VP pick? Because I'm open to suggestions. I'm really curious who people think would make a good ticket. I would be surprised if it's not Kamala at the top of the ticket, but again, there's a lot of great potential picks for president and VP. If Kamala Harris is the VP pick, the only person who is disqualified is Gavin Newsom, who is another really good pick, and I forgot to mention him earlier. He's another good pick. But they're both from California. So, unfortunately, that can't happen. And for those who've heard this about Trump not being able to pick Marco Rubio, it's the 12th Amendment. I had to look this up because I trusted my sources, but they never said where in the Constitution was that actually in. And it's the 12th Amendment that prevents the president and the vice president from being from the same state. Let's see if there's anything else I wanted to mention in this video. I think I've covered everything, so yeah. Again, tell me what you guys think. Who do you think should be the VP pick? Or, if you don't like Kamala, who do you think should be the presidential pick? Because Kamala, as the vice president, is basically president in training. So, it's going to be hard to bring up someone who could beat her, who actually wants to run this cycle, simply because of the absolute freaking weirdness. So yeah, if you have a different idea for president, I would love to hear it. And this is just the Democratic ticket. I don't want to hear anything about Trump, because that has nothing to do with this conversation. So, with that, I want to hear your thoughts, and I will see you guys in the next video.